In the sacred teachings of the Buddha, we are often reminded that suffering is not caused by what happens to us, but by what we hold on to. If you find yourself waking up exhausted, or if your mind feels heavy with the echoes of old arguments and past mistakes, you are carrying a burden that the Buddha warned would block your path to peace. Many of us believe that by thinking about a problem, we are solving it, but often we are simply clutching a hot coal and wondering why our hands are burning. Today, on the Lotus of Wisdom, I want to share a powerful story from our tradition. It is a lesson about two monks, a muddy crossing, and the heavy price of a judgmental mind. Listen closely, not just to the words, but to the space between them, and ask yourself, what am I still carrying? There were once two monks, Dhammapal and Jitendra. They were journeying together along a high mountain road following a season of heavy, relentless rain. The path beneath their feet was thick with deep, clinging mud, making every step a challenge of balance and patience. As they rounded a sharp bend in the road, they encountered a young woman standing at a flooded crossroads. She was dressed in an exquisite high-quality silk kimono, and she looked deeply distressed. The water and mud were far too deep for her to cross without ruining her beautiful clothes, and she stood there, trapped by the elements, without saying a single word. Dhammapal, the older and more experienced monk, stepped forward into the knee-deep sludge. He reached out and gently picked the woman up in his arms. He carried her steadily across the treacherous crossing and set her down safely on the dry ground on the other side. The woman bowed low in silent gratitude, and Dhammapal simply nodded and continued walking. Jitendra, the younger monk, followed behind, but his heart was no longer at peace. For hours, as they walked toward their distant temple, a storm was brewing inside him. He did not look at the beauty of the forest. He did not feel the cool breeze. He was thinking only of the rules. He was thinking of the vows they had taken to never touch a woman. 5 hours passed in a heavy, suffocating silence. The sun began to dip below the horizon, casting long, dark shadows across their path. Finally, as the gates of the temple came into view, Jitendra could no longer contain the fire in his mind. He stopped walking and shouted, "Dhammapal, how could you do such a thing? We are monks. We are sworn to avoid such contact. You picked that woman up in your arms and carried her. You have violated our precepts. Why did you do it?" Dhammapal stopped walking. He turned around and looked at his younger companion with eyes full of a gentle, unshakable compassion. He smiled softly and said, "Jitendra, I left that woman at the crossroads 5 hours ago. Why are you still carrying her?" In that moment of profound silence, the weight lifted from the air, but Jitendra felt the gravity of his own mistake. Dhammapal had performed an act of pure compassion and immediately let it go. His mind remained as clear and as pure as a mountain spring. But Jitendra, while keeping his hands clean, had been carrying the woman, the judgment, and the anger in his mind for miles. He had turned a 5-minute walk into a 5-hour burden. This is the true meaning of the Lotus of Wisdom. We often think we are being righteous or careful by dwelling on the past, but we are only exhausting our own souls. Like the lotus that grows in the mud, but remains untouched by the grime, we must learn to engage with life fully, do what is kind, and then leave the rest behind. What are you still carrying today? Let it stay at the crossroads. Walk the rest of the way in peace. Thank you for listening.